Okay, let's do some word problems. This is page 96, number 52. Martin purchased stock for $65. The stock's now worth 80% more. What is it worth now? So he purchased it for $65 and it's worth 80% more. So it's worth more than $65. It's worth the whole $65 and then another 80%, which we know 80% is pretty close to 100, so it's almost doubled what it's worth. Just keep that in mind as we do the problem so that you know, okay, that sounds about close to double. You know, we'll think about it that way. So, so we're wanting to find 100% of 65 plus 80% of 65. Like, I mean, you can almost think of it like that. Well, I won't be that complicated with it. So, but it's 100% plus 80% of 65. So that's 180. Percent of 65. Okay, let's start by just, we know what that means. It means per 100. So I'm going to write it a step simpler. 180 per cent. Cent means 100. You know, how many cents in a dollar? 100 of them. Of 65. Remember what of means in math. We know it means times. So now this step down, I'm going to write 180 over 100 times 65. Okay? All of this is going to equal what the stock is worth now. Okay? Because it's increased 80% past what it used to be. So it's increased, what it used to be was 100, and it's increased 80. That's why we wrote 180. So I'm going to write S for stock. That's what it's all going to equal, S. So let's do this, 180. I'm going to write them side by side and all over the same, because the 65 has an invisible 1. Any number is over 1. Because 65 divided by 1 is just 65. So we haven't changed it, but it helps me when you want to multiply stuff side by side. Helps you not get confused. Okay, so 180 times 65, let's write that. Times 65 over 100 equals what the stock is worth now. Okay, now it's time to do the math. I'm going to do that out to the side because I want us to stay organized by writing everything underneath. 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 8 is 40, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 8 is 48. Carry the 4, let's just get that all the way. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Okay, now I'm going to add everything together. There's a 0 there, of course. 0. What did I say? Oh, that's a 0. See, I wasn't writing very neatly. Another 0. 9 is 17. 1 and 1. So now we've got this number. It's a really huge number, but don't forget it's over 100. So we're going to write, let's see, 11700 over 100 is going to be our answer. But we know we can reduce. When you see zeros over each other, they can always reduce. Now you could do this in a long division way of 117 or 11,700 divided by 100, and you could work it all out, and you will get, we worked on this today, but you will get this number, but with 2 decimals gone, because you always take away the number of decimals of zeros that you have. But we'll go ahead and work it out so that you feel confident about it. That's 170. What did I already carry down? Okay, yeah, this one. And there we have it, 700. That was a 0. Again, sloppy with my zeros. And then there's always a decimal at the end of a number, but we don't have to think about this one because it already ended in zeros. So 117 is what we get. Now, we could have gotten that 117 really quickly too, knowing that zeros top bottom zeros, they always cancel out, and you're left with 117 over 1, which is just 117. So our last step, 117 equals what the stock is worth now. Now, we told ourselves that it was going to be close to double of 65. I know that 2 hours, 60 minutes an hour, 2 hours is 120 minutes. So, you know, just sort of throwing that around in your head, you're like, okay, 65 would be a little more than 120, but we know it's 80% more. So yeah, that sounds about right. It's not a full double, but it's definitely a good bit bigger. So in your head, if you're in a hurry and you're doing that problem, you just kind of want to know in your head if it sounds about right. That does sound about right. So that's dollars. I should make sure to write your units. So your stock equals dollars. And, you know, they didn't ask us to call that S. I just called it that. So really just your answer is just that. Is what the stock is worth now. There you have it.